7 years since those fateful events have sculpted me into a man far removed from the prince I once was. The relentless pursuit by the Dahaka, that inexorable guardian of time, has left its indelible mark on both my soul and countenance. Day after day, the shadow of death looms, a constant reminder of the inescapable fate that awaits me. This ceaseless hunt has brewed within me a tempest of violence. Where once there was poise and princely grace, now rests a darkened, restless spirit. My mood swings like a pendulum between morbid contemplation and a fierce urgency to live in the face of certain doom. Every glance in the mirror reveals the toll these years have taken. My face, once the picture of youthful royal ambition, now carries the scars of sleepless nights and relentless battles. There's a certain hollowness in my eyes, as if they've gazed too long into the abyss. The knowledge of my destined end, a fate seemingly set in stone by my own hands, weighs heavily on me, etching lines of despair and defiance on my once smooth brow. I am a prince transformed by the furnace of my choices, a man walking the thin line between what was ordained and what could be. The pursuit of the Dahaka has not just been a chase across lands and time, but a journey into the very depths of my being. In the depths of my despair, grappling with the shadows that haunted my every step, I sought the wisdom of one who had guided my youth. The old man. He had been a pillar in the foundation of my upbringing, a beacon of knowledge and understanding. In his presence, I hoped to find a flicker of light in the encroaching darkness of my fate. As I approached him, the very earth seemed to shift and moan, for the Tower of Babylon was rising, an omen of change, of an unfolding era. It was there, in that moment of desperation, that the old man spoke of a place shrouded in the veils of time, the island of time, the cradle of the sands of time, presided over by the enigmatic empress of time. His words were like a key unlocking a door to possibilities I hadn't dared to hope for. The island held the secret to the sands, and perhaps the secret to halting the relentless pursuit of the Dahaka. Driven by the primal instinct of survival and the faint hope of altering my damned destiny, I resolved to set sail for the island. There, amidst the echoes of time and fate, I would confront the root of my curse, daring to prevent the creation of the sands themselves. In my heart, a conviction burned bright. If I could erase the existence of the sands of time, then the Dahaka, that relentless harbinger of my doom, would have no cause to hunt me. Yet, as if the very universe conspired to thwart my quest, a myriad of ominous challenges rose to obstruct my path to the island of time. The sea itself seemed to turn against me as my ship was besieged by a formidable army, commanded by a woman cloaked in black, known as Shadi. The battle that ensued was both fierce and chaotic. Shadi, with a warrior's precision and a tempest's fury, managed to hurl me overboard. As I struggled in the tumultuous waters, I could only watch helplessly as my ship was torn asunder, my crew meeting a violent, merciless end. Miraculously, I clung to life, adrift on a fragment of wreckage. It was this sliver of hope amidst the desolation that carried me, as if guided by the hand of fate, to the shores of the island of time. Battered, but unbroken, I washed upon its beaches. As I traversed the colossal cliffs of the island of time, a stark fortress rising from the sea, I once again crossed paths with Shadi. Her presence, like a shadow flickering at the edge of my vision, lured me deeper into the heart of the fortress. With each step, the lines between hunter and hunted blurred, as I gave chase through the labyrinthine corridors. In the midst of this pursuit, fate played its hand once more. Unbeknownst to me, I stumbled into one of the fortress's many time portals, a nexus between now and then, present and past. It was as if the fabric of time itself had unraveled, drawing me into its folds. Emerging from the portal, still in the throes of my chase, I found myself in a time long gone. It was in this past that I beheld a scene of imminent violence. Shadi, her intent as lethal as her blade, was poised to strike down an enigmatic woman clad in red, Kylena. My path on the island of time led me to a fierce confrontation with Shadi once again. Our battle was a dance of death, a clash of wills under the shadow of destiny. In the end, I emerged victorious. It was during this tumultuous battle that I saved the life of Kylena, a woman shrouded in mystery. Despite my urgent need to present my case to the Empress of Time, to plead for an end to the relentless cycle set in motion by the sands, I was denied this chance. Instead, a new challenge unveiled itself before me. The task was clear yet daunting: to activate the two great towers of the island. It was said that this act would unlock the sacred doors to the Emperor's throne room. With determination as my guide, I embarked on this arduous endeavor, overcoming trials that tested both my physical prowess and mental fortitude. The towers, each a labyrinth in its own right, demanded everything of me, but driven by the desperation of a man fighting against his fate, I persevered. Upon finally reaching the throne room, breathless and weary, I was confronted with a revelation that shook the very foundations of my quest. Kylena, the woman I had saved, was none other than the Empress of Time herself. In the throne room, I stood before Kylena, the Empress of Time. Her eyes held a depth of sorrow and resignation, for she too had glimpsed her fate in the merciless tapestry of time, a fate where she falls to my hand. Yet, stirred by the relentless drum of my own defiance, she too sought to escape the cruel snare of destiny. The irony was as bitter as it was poignant. Our encounter turned to conflict, a tragic and inevitable dance. In the heat of battle, driven by instinct and the will to survive, I delivered the fatal blow to Kylena. In that moment, I believed it to be the end, a closure to the relentless cycle I had been ensnared in. But fate, it seemed, had a far more twisted path laid out for me. As Kylena's life ebbed away, her essence transformed, birthing the very sands of time I had sought to prevent. In a cruel twist, my actions were the catalyst, the inception point of my own doomed journey. The realization was crushing, a cruel joke played by the fates. There I was, having sought to extinguish the sands from history, only to find myself as their unwitting creator. Despair enveloped me like a shroud. The Dahaka, ever relentless in its pursuit, continued to haunt my steps. And then, amidst my darkest hour, I stumbled upon a mural depicting something that defied belief: the Mask of the Wraith. In the depths of my despair, the Mask of the Wraith appeared not just as an artifact, but as a vessel of hope amidst a sea of inevitability. Upon donning this ancient mask, I was transformed into the Sand Wraith, a being that transcended the ordinary bounds of time and destiny. It offered me a last, desperate chance to rewrite my fate, to untangle the twisted threads that had bound my existence. With this newfound form and purpose, I set out on a mission to alter the very events that had led to the creation of the sands of time. My objective was clear yet daunting: to intercept my past self, to prevent the fatal act of killing Kylena. Instead, my plan was to bring her with me into the present, thereby ensuring that the sands would never be created in that bygone era. This plan, intricate and fraught with peril, hinged on the hope that if the sands were never discovered by the Maharaja, then I, in turn, would never have the chance to unleash them. As I navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the fortress, each step took me closer to a pivotal juncture in my journey. I reached the entrance to the passage leading to the throne room, where time had woven its most intricate web. There, I was confronted with a sight that challenged the very nature of reality. My past self, the prince I once was, locked in his own struggle. In this surreal moment, I stood as the Sand Wraith, a spectre of the future, gazing upon my former self. My mind raced with the knowledge of what was to come: the Dahaka's imminent attack. A crucial decision lay before me. With the weight of foreknowledge, I withheld my intervention. I watched as the Dahaka descended upon my past self, a scene both harrowing and necessary. This act, as heart-wrenching as it was, allowed me to shed the guise of the Sand Wraith. As the mask came off, a profound transformation unfolded. I was no longer the tormented spectre caught between timelines, but once again the prince. In the tumultuous wake of my battle with destiny, a bitter truth dawned upon me. Kylena, the Empress of Time, a being woven intricately into the fabric of the past, found herself an anomaly in the present. My actions, driven by a fierce desire to save myself from the relentless pursuit of the Dahaka, had inadvertently condemned her to the same fate. The very spectre that had haunted me now cast its ominous shadow over her. Determined not to let her suffer the terror I had endured, I steeled myself for one final confrontation. The Dahaka, a monstrous embodiment of time's wrath, faced me in a battle that seemed to defy the very laws of nature. Armed with the mystical water sword, the only weapon capable of ending its relentless pursuit, I fought with every ounce of my being. In a climactic moment, I plunged the sword through its skull, sending the beast tumbling into the churning sea below, breaking the cycle of torment. With the Dahaka vanquished, Kylena and I turned our eyes towards home, Babylon. We labored together, building a ship to carry us across the vast oceans. As we sailed, the barriers between us, forged by time and circumstance, began to dissolve. Under the canopy of stars, we found solace in each other's company.